Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. This story is quite astonishing, really. It's a case of absolute entitlement from a woman who really ought to know better. Christine Graham, and many will know her as the wobbly MP who always sits behind Hamza Yousaf nodding, you know. When she's not nodding, she's shaking. She has a condition, and that's fine. I don't mind her condition. That's how it is. But it's almost as though whenever he talks, it's almost like a Pavlovian reaction. Oh, yes. She's a very overweight woman. Never one to pass a packet of biscuits. And she's complaining. She's absolutely complaining. And when you hear why she's complaining, you'll be astonished. This is a woman who's on £70,000 a year salary as an MSP, complaining that the subsidized canteen at Holyrood isn't good enough. She could always bring in a box of sandwiches, couldn't she? Or, go buy her own food, instead of sitting there moaning that the publicly subsidized food, the food that the public are helping to keep the low price of for people on £70,000 a year, isn't up to her usual standards. Well, I suppose because it's probably put on a plate rather than in the trough where her nose usually is. Scoff, scoff, scoff. Let's take a look. SMP MSP hits out at the quality of meals in Holyrood's subsidised canteen as food poverty rises. So whilst many people in Scotland can't afford to eat at all, old chubby Christine Graham is sitting there moaning that her subsidised lunch isn't quite up to snuff, isn't good enough for the likes of her. What an absolute pig. A trade union said Christine Graham's comments were astonishing, while an MSP said she should bring a packed lunch or bugger off and find a restaurant more in keeping with her, taste and desires. What is wrong with these people? Do they live in an absolute dream world, in their ivory towers? Oh, look, I'm not getting the requisite level of scoff that I deserve as an MSP. Oh, I can barely function without a bottle of Chateau Neuf de Pape going down my throat. Oh, look at me. I'm forced to eat pie and chips, not caviar and quaffles. What an absolute knob. A well-off MSP has moaned about the quality of Holyrood's subsidised at public expense meals at a time of rising food prices and hunger. Christine Graham, who earns nearly £70,000 a year, took a swipe at the deteriorating fare in the canteen that's cheaper than Greg's. Sarah Woolley, General Secretary of the Bakers, Food and Allied Workers Union, said, "To hear an MSP complain about the quality of meals in their subsidised canteen, which is much cheaper than many high street takeaways, is astonishing." Now, Graham is, as I say, she's the fat one with the funny hair. She sits behind and then wobbles her day. I thought previously that the wobble was down to some kind of nervous affliction that she has. Turns out, no. It's just because she's a fat pig. What an absolute shower these people are. Anyway, this trade unionist went on. At a time of rising hunger and increasing levels of malnutrition, I would suggest that Miss Graham spends more time finding solutions to these very real problems than concerning herself with the standard of the trough that she sticks her big, fat face into at public expense every day. It was revealed in 2022 that Holyrood bosses were spending $75,000 a month subsidising food throughout the building. A bacon roll and a coffee in the popular canteen can be snapped up for about £2.50, less than the £2.85 charged by Greg's. But Graham, who sits on the Parliament's governing corporate body, still had a pop at the grub being served. In an email to colleagues linked to the record, the SNP MSP wrote, "I have shared my concerns about the standard and quality of meals in the garden lobby, especially lunchtime meals. I would be happy to have your views and anonymously convey these at the next SCPB meeting. You pig. You sit there scoffing cheap food and then moaning at the quality while your policies are making a million Scots hungry. You fat, lazy, ignorant, horrible pig of a woman. How dare you? How absolutely dare you do this? She said, I would add that I myself do not have any criticism of the staff or the chef team, but that the lunch meal quality has deteriorated over the months. She said, I would accept the mince and tatties, though a tad salty. Oh, a bit salty for you, is it? As it's poured into your trough? Unbelievable. After a low return rate, she sent another email. Oh, what? Nobody else wanted to join you in your criticism of the food? I bet the main problem is it comes on a plate that big and not in a fat bucket. She said only a few of you responded, so I take silence as a positive. Her second email was sent out the day protesters sprayed paint across the front of the Parliament to complain about rising food insecurity. So there's people out there on the streets complaining about food and the prices and the availability. And old fat-faced Piggy Malone sits there criticising her cheap food and moaning that it isn't up to her standards. God almighty. Anyone who's in her constituency, get rid of the fat bitch later. Just fire her out. Make her go and spend her own money on getting her own lunch. And let her see how expensive it truly is, instead of eating subsidised food from the bucket that she's used to. I can't get over this. I'm really angry. Banners reading "Hunger is a political choice" and 1 in 4 Scots were displayed, and 3 people are arrested when they sprayed red paint everywhere at the Parliament. And of course, this is the protest. Now they're going, "Oh, isn't it terrible? Isn't it terrible?" They're the ones who encourage this kind of thing. And then Graham is sitting there going, "Isn't it terrible?" And honestly, putting a pie in here and a sausage roll in there. What a fat, ignorant pig. There's a picture of her. Look. There's a woman who hasn't known hunger in her life, isn't it? There's a woman who shoves food down her face at every available moment. And her food in that Parliament, subsidised and cheap. What an absolute hog. And she has the temerity to moan when food prices for normies like you and me are going through the roof. What a disgusting, fat, lazy pig of a woman she truly is. She should spend less money dyeing her hair, more on going on a diet, and then finding out the true price of food before opening her ignorant mouth and complaining that the subsidised food she gets isn't good enough. I can't get over. I'm not even going to go any further with this. I'm just going to stop. She's annoying the shit out of me. She truly is. Coming up. So next time you watch the Parliament channel, or you see FMQs or something, you will see behind Humza Yousaf this wobbling, fat, lardy Jabba the Hutt sitting there shoveling food in like that, mashed potato in her hand, like that. I just think it's all subsidised, love. Keep eating. Thing is, fat bitch like that, she'll cark it soon. The old veins will be loaded up with lard, won't they? Big heart attack. I'll stop her bitching about the price of the food in the canteen. Unbelievable. Stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Angry. That just got me really angry, and I do apologise. Till next time, stay safe, stay well. Don't eat too much if you can afford it. And let's just keep fingers crossed that old Christine Graham loses her seat next time and has to go into Tesco's and buy her own damn food.